In the blood-soaked battlefields of ancient China, legends were born and died by the sword. But among all the generals who shaped the warring states, one man's shadow looms larger than all others. A man whose very presence could turn the tide of battle. A man whose legacy would forever change the course of kingdom. This is the story of Ouki, the monstrous bird of Qin. When Ouki first appeared before the palace gates, even the air seemed to stand still. Veterans who had seen countless battles found themselves holding their breath. Young soldiers whispered his name in awe. This was no ordinary general. This was a man who carried the weight of an entire era on his shoulders. His reputation preceded him everywhere. Stories of his achievements echoed throughout China. The general who broke through an army of 50,000 with just 6,000 men. The warrior who made Wei's infamous fire dragons retreat with just his presence. One of the 6 great generals of Qin who stood at the pinnacle of military might. But numbers and titles hardly captured what made Ouki extraordinary. It was in the way he carried himself and influenced the battlefield. Enemies called him the monstrous bird of Qin. This name became a legend in the battlefield. For many, it was the last name they ever heard. Behind that eccentric personality lay the mind of a military genius. To understand Ouki's genius, you had to look beyond the clash of steel and thunder of hooves. His true strength lay in his ability to read the flow of battle like a master reads a scroll. Where others saw chaos, he saw patterns. Where others reacted, he orchestrated. The strength of a man who leads 100. The strength of a man who leads 1,000. The strength of a man who leads 10,000. These weren't just words to Ouki. Each level represented a different world of warfare, a different weight a commander must bear. Leading 100 men meant knowing their faces, their strengths. Leading 1,000 meant understanding how units move as one. But leading 10,000? That required something more. The ability to move hearts, to turn individual soldiers into a force that could shake the earth itself. Speaking of leading armies. What better time to join our own growing unit? As Ouki would say, a great general knows when to gather his forces. So if you want to be part of our march to greater heights, hit that subscribe button faster than Ouki can swing his glaive. Now let's return to how this legendary general shaped warfare itself. Most generals saw only a servant boy swinging a sword too big for his arms. Ouki saw something different in Qin, a raw flame that reminded him of another era, of dreams too big for common men to understand. But Ouki's method of teaching wasn't gentle guidance or formal instruction. It was brutal honesty wrapped in wisdom. If you're serious about becoming a great general, he once told Qin, then you must learn to see what lies beyond strength. This wasn't just about Qin. Tu, his most trusted lieutenant, started as a soldier with merely exceptional sword skills. Under Ouki's guidance, he grew into a man capable of leading armies. The difference? Ouki taught him that a blade can cut down enemies, but it takes more to inspire allies. Even in his final campaign, Ouki never stopped teaching. Every order was a lesson, every strategy a demonstration. Watch carefully, his actions seemed to say. This is what it means to carry the weight of 10,000 men. The Bayou campaign wasn't meant to be Ouki's final battle, but great generals don't choose when their legend ends. They only choose how. As Zhao's armies gathered like storm clouds on the horizon, Ouki stood at the head of his army one last time. The same presence, the same laugh echoing across the battlefield. But something was different. Every soldier who served under him could feel it. This battle would write history. Each movement of his army was deliberate, each order precise. Even cornered by Riboku's strategy, Ouki turned near defeat into a chance for victory. This wasn't just a general fighting his last battle. This was a master delivering his final lesson. When Hukin appeared, everyone understood the weight of the moment. This wasn't just a duel between warriors, it was a clash between 2 different philosophies of warfare. One sought strength for strength's sake. The other understood that true strength exists to protect something greater. In his final moments, Ouki didn't just die, he showed what it truly meant to be a great general. His last words weren't of regret or anger, but of the future. As his glaive passed to Shin, it carried more than steel and weight. It carried a dream, a responsibility, a legacy. Years after Bayou, you can still feel Ouki's presence in Kingdom's world. Not as a ghost of the past, but as a living benchmark of what it means to be great. When Tu leads his army now, you see flashes of his master's genius, not as an imitation, but as lessons carried forward. When Shin swings that massive glaive, it's not just a weapon anymore. Each strike carries the weight of a promise made to a dying legend. But Ouki's true legacy isn't in the weapons he left behind, or even the battles he won. It's in how he changed what it means to be a great general. Every new commander who rises through the ranks measures themselves not just against Ouki's strength, but against his understanding of leadership. In a world where strength often speaks louder than wisdom, Ouki taught us something different. That true greatness isn't about the battles you win, but about the path you leave for others to follow. That a great general's most powerful weapon isn't their blade or their strategy. It's their ability to plant seeds of greatness in others. Even now, when armies clash and new legends rise, you can sometimes hear it, that distinctive laugh echoing across the battlefield. Because that's what truly made Ouki a legend. Not just his victories or his strength, but his ability to transcend death itself through the dreams he inspired in others. And if you want to see how Ouki's legacy lives on, click here to follow Shin's journey to becoming a great general of the heavens. After all, every great story needs its next chapter.